Hey guys, so this is another comic webtoon kind of webcomic vlog. Again, technically I kind of do my comics a little wrong when you think about like the scrolling format of webtoon. I like kind of frame mine to be normal comic pages, but I'm kind of switching it up just a little bit so they still kind of work, but yeah. So I am very close to finishing the last, or not the last chapter, but chapter 3, so the last chapter I'm working on before I move on to chapter 4 and then 5. So we're officially like way past we're way past the middle point, and yeah, it's very interesting because we're in like the final stretch, and this means some more of the serious stuff and some of the stuff that I've been waiting to get into, and a lot more horror because this is my comic Werewolf in the Shadows. And technically, Lucas still hasn't seen the werewolf in person, but he knows. He knows, but he doesn't know, you know? But yeah, I'm really, really excited about all the things that are to come, and oh, my dog just hit her head, my poor baby. But yeah, I only have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more pages until, or 6 more pages until chapter 3 is officially done, and I can start working on chapter 4, and I may or may not have already drafted and storyboarded and scripted my first, 6 pages of chapter 4, because I was excited because this is something that's been in my head for a while, and honestly, like, it's a bit serious too, and every time I think about it, I'm just like, this is kind of like such a big turning point that's going to be for my character Lucas, and also like gonna really kick him in the ass to like get to start doing shit. And it's basically where he chooses, like, I don't want to spoil shit, but basically there are 2 paths that Lucas could go on in like this comic, and this is basically the point where he chooses, and I'm so excited because I've been waiting for this for so long, and I've been working on this comic for 4 years now, so like, he's grown so much, he's become like a completely different person. I need to redo chapter 1 and chapter 2 already. I'm like, my art has improved so fucking much. I'm like, damn, looking at some of it. But yeah, I am excited to finish up chapter 3 and get into chapter 4 and 5 and get this comic finished. I'm hoping I can start ramping up the production speed, but last year I probably would have gotten chapter 3 done already, but I did move out of my mom's place. So I moved once. I got a full-time job, I went back to school. So I did those 3 things, and then I moved again. And then at the beginning of this year, I moved again. So I'm struggling. But I did decide to take the summer off, so this is the first summer I've had really like free of like school for like a while now. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. Like, even when I was in high school, I did not have summers off, not because I was doing like summer school, because I was homeschooling, so I just did it year round and just got a shit ton of extra credit, and that's why I graduated with honors. I don't know, but yeah, I'm very excited about all of this because I've had it planned for so long, and yeah, I put so much of me into this that I am just like, people are finally gonna see what I've been working on for so many years. And chapter 3 is like, I'm so much more proud of the art and also the pacing in it. Like, it's got the most pages out of all the chapters so far, I believe. Let me just, yeah, it definitely does. So it's going to end with 33 pages, which is, you know, 333. I don't know what it is about me and like synchronicities and shit like that, but I love it. It's probably the witchy bitch in me. But yeah, there's so many reveals that happen also in the middle of it that I'm just like, I can't wait for people to be like, this bitch, to some of the characters, and also just to see how much Lucas has changed and grown. I just noticed a mistake in one of the pages as I was looking at it, but whatever. It's like, he looks like he's blushing in one of the pages because I forgot to turn down the opacity of his, like, what's it called? Words aren't working, and I've been working all day, so I'm, like, out of it. But yeah. We're just gonna go and start drafting shit, and I'm gonna show you guys, I'm trying to figure out how I can show you guys it without messing up and like exposing stuff. Yeah, I'm just gonna go and tape a thing over the actual script so you can't see that, so you guys will not know. But yeah. Okay, so yeah, this is basically how I script out each page. Like under here, it's exactly what happens, and also the text and like moods and stuff like that underneath it. So that's the little script for the page. Overall, Wolf in the Shadows is a little bigger than this. This is just all the pages that I have scripted and have, like, I've inserted some pages in between, so it's not exactly 76, but it's around 76 altogether. But this is page 28, I believe. But yeah, so I need to storyboard, draft, line art, color, and then text. And then once I'm done storyboarding, I'll check this off, and so on and so forth. But when we go over here, we can take this off. Oh, and I got tape on my shit. Okay. But I already have like the frames I've done already, and I also have some of the other pages that are already complete up, so I can kind of stay consistent and remember pacing. But then I have all the frames already for chapter 3's finale up here, and then these are the ones I already have storyboarded and drafted because I did those actually on paper because I had the idea. And yeah, so yeah, need to do all of these, and we'll see how this turns out. Hey guys, so yeah, I just kind of showed you guys a little bit of my drafting process, or that's not the draft, that's the storyboarding process. I know you're supposed to do it even smaller, but like, I started this again 4 years ago, so it's not great. I just realized my light isn't on. Oh, I'm so pale. Sorry if that blinded you guys. But, I realized on this channel I haven't really talked about, like, how much and why Werewolf in the Shadows means like a lot to me, like, and I feel like it's kind of important to know the context behind it, to just, what is the word that I'm looking for, to understand why I'm so passionate about it, I guess, because like when I started Werewolf in the Shadows, I had just graduated high school. It was 2020, the pandemic hit, and I went from going, like, basically it was my pandemic project, and it's just stayed because during the pandemic I got even more depressed because I went from barely having any high school experience at all because I was homeschooled due to health issues, to finally getting a little bit of senior year, and then all of the fun shit that I had been working on so hard for just got taken away. I didn't get a prom. I didn't get to go to a single dance my entire school life. I didn't get senior ditch day, senior pranks. I didn't get, like, any of it. I didn't get senior, like, night or anything like that. I got nothing. So, like, I went from that, and then I instantly went into starting to do online college, and I was extremely depressed. And you know, a lot of artists, you'll probably hear that a lot, like, you get depressed, you are just kind of like in a rut. But I had like kind of been on and off drawing throughout high school, and like it was kind of just like a little thing I would do here and there. And throughout high school I always made webcomics and like kind of just put them out there, and then once in a while I'd be like, oh, I don't like that art anymore, and just take it down. And I ended up losing a lot of work because my old computer just completely shit out on me. So all of that old work, all of those old scripts, everything gone, wiped from existence, because I also deleted it off of Tapas. So I had a lot of shit going on in my family life, friends, like I was kind of alone, and a lot of it, like with my friends, it was kind of my fault, like, but at the same time I think it was just time to like move on, you know, like I could have done a lot of things different, but I didn't. But for that moment I had basically like no one on my side, and like my family life was fucking crazy, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna you know. So the only reason why I didn't was because I had this idea, and it literally came from a dream I had of Lucas being chased in the woods by a werewolf, and I woke up and I was like, huh, that's like the first time I've had an idea for like a webcomic in like 2 years. That's kind of interesting. Technically it was just a comic in general. I was like, huh, I kind of want to work on this. So then I got on TikTok and I started talking about it a little more, because before that I was not very consistent. And throughout the pandemic I amassed 2,000 followers talking about Werewolf in the Shadows, and randomly my little Dragon Age or cosplay rants and stuff like that. But I never really got a lot of traction from Werewolf in the Shadows. Like, we got a few videos into like 500 view range, but none of them ever got like past that. And honestly, I think it's because Lucas is a little ugly. It's fine, it's his beard, I know. The minute he shaves, he will shave by the end of the comic, I promise. He just got that scruggly beard for plot purposes, I swear. It is relevant. But yeah, this comic was kind of what helped me dig myself out of just the huge mental rut I was in. And honestly, I was like, well, I don't want to put like it online because what if I don't like continue it, because I have had plenty of comics that I put online, got really hyped for, got a few freaking subscribers, and then just went, I don't want to. I don't want to continue this. And I was just like, what if I do the same with this? So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna share little bits and pieces and like memes of it on TikTok and see what happens. And some people liked it, and for the first 2 years of it, I kept drawing it. I was like doing a chapter a year basically, and I was drawing it even with no one seeing the pages but me. So yeah, the pages in the beginning are very rough, and it was me learning a lot of things. I went from being what, a 19-year-old with severe depression, barely out of high school, to into college, and going from being an honor student to failing a class for the very first time in my life. I was a mess. And also my counselor, fuck my old counselor for fucking college, because she was a dick, because she was like, no, we don't have any like art majors here, you can be a business major. There was an art major at that fucking school, and she literally was basically just like my 3rd grade teacher, who was like, that's not a realistic job career, that's not a realistic thing, so she put me in fucking business. Turns out also, there was an art business degree at that school, so that pissed me off. And you might be like, how did she go from art to business? Like, what the fuck? I participated in a course in high school that got me a business and marketing certificate. So, like, that was the thing I had. But she was like, no, you're going into business. And now I'm just like, no. So yeah, I failed the marketing class I was in, even though I already had a marketing certificate. The teacher was very anal about everything and had a very set way she wanted everything, that even today, now that I have a marketing job, that I'm like, that was completely fucking wrong, because she also said that like social media marketing was the lowest form of marketing and it will probably go away. Here we are. She was quite stupid, and very stubborn. But yeah, I was extremely depressed, and Werewolf in the Shadows was there for me in that time, and it legitimately probably saved my life, because I was also having a lot of health problems, and I got to a point where I was just like, well, if it kills me, it kills me. I legitimately was like, I am in pain 24/7. I am sick 24/7. What's the point? And I was like, well, I want this idea to actually turn into something. And that is legitimately what kept me going for like 2 years. And now I've moved out of my mom's place. I transferred colleges out of that one, and I'm being an art major now. I got a big person job. I paid taxes for the first time. Like, oh my god. And like in those 2 years I also worked at like Spirit Halloween, but like that's a small little portion of the year, and I had to make that money stretch. So it was a thing. It was a thing. But yeah, Werewolf in the Shadows literally is the reason why I am still here, and there is no doubt in my mind about that, because honestly, art is what I've wanted to do since I was like a little kid. And specifically with comics, I always loved comics, and I think I literally have the first fucking graphic novel. Yep. I have the entire series except for the latest 2, I think, of this series. I still keep up to date with it because this is literally what started me getting into like fantasy and reading, and I've had this with me since the 4th grade. I got it in one of those little Scholastic book fairs, and it was the first time I ever had the money to buy it because my family was like very poor. We didn't have the money to be buying this type of stuff, but at that moment we actually had a high, and this was a really good deal. It was this book and these ones. So it was the first 4 books of these. I still honestly really love this series, even though it's for kids. But yeah, that was like my first introduction to like graphic novels, and that was in 3rd grade when I first read that series, and then when I was in 5th grade I saw it in the Scholastic little thing, and it was for like 25 bucks. And I know for a lot of you, you're like, that's not a lot. I grew up stealing toilet paper from the school. Like, 25 bucks that could go to food or toilet paper was a lot, you know? So like when we actually had that money and I was like, please, like, I really want this. And my mom was like, you know what, fine. Because I didn't ask for shit ever. But yeah, that series also meant so much to me growing up, and like every like birthday and Christmas I'd be like, hey, even in high school I was like there's another one that came out, and like even though now they're a little more expensive because of inflation, but yeah, that series is what got me started with comics and why I wanted to start doing comics. And that's also just, I had a rough childhood, and that dissociation that I had where I could escape into it. Not dissociation necessarily, it was an escape for me. And then I was like, I want to make my own comics. So I made a little comic on paper, printer paper, that I folded together, and it was kind of sad, and it was about a little kid putting away all their toys and saying playtime's over, and it was about a little kid growing up. And my mom read it and was like, this is sad. But yeah, that was my first ever experience with comics, and growing up with art kind of prevalent in my head even after I stopped drawing for a while, because in 4th grade I had a teacher who literally was like, that's not a realistic goal, that's not a real job. So yeah, fuck that teacher, fuck my counselor, and keep making art, because it can literally save your life. Bye guys.